Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube NFL prediction segment, I'm going to be giving you my picks and analysis for Week 5 of the 2015 NFL season. Well, the first game, I'm going to take the Indianapolis Colts over the Houston Texans. Indy's on the road. For Indy, DeQuell Jackson is one of the few bright spots, number 1 in tackles at 47. The Indianapolis Colts are actually number 32 in turnover differential at -9. They're obviously this team does not appear as formidable as it had been in recent years past. However, they have won their last 2 games. I think they're starting to get a little rhythm, even though the winning has been ugly. They won by a robust 3 points against a Jacksonville Jaguars team. Houston at home. Right now, one of their few bright spots is J.J. Watt, of course. He's his usual self. I believe he has 4 sacks right now. And DeAndre Hopkins has been one of the better receivers in the league in terms of yards. So Houston, I could see them winning, but I'm going to go with Indy. I think they'll have some luck in this game. Now, the next game. I'm going to take the Kansas City Chiefs at home over the Chicago Bears. Now, running back Jamal Charles is number 4 in rushing yards right now, 306. He's having a very good season. And we look at Chicago Bears. They have a pretty good running back themselves in Matt Forte, number 2 in rushing yards now with 367. Chicago and Kansas City are tied for points allowed as far as scoring defense, 31.3 points per game allowed. So points may be, you might see a lot of points in this particular game and a lot of offense because of the ineptitude of the defenses of these teams. So I'm going to take Kansas City just mainly on virtue of the fact they're at home. Now, the next game, I'm going to take the Cincinnati Bengals at home over the Seattle Seahawks. Seahawks, to me, they barely beat Detroit this past week. I understand they're getting in their groove. Cam Chancellor is back, and they have their usual tenacious defense. However, you have Cincinnati is everything but invincible at home. They're 15-2-1 in their last 18 at home. You talk about a phenomenal tandem with quarterback Andy Dalton and wide receiver A.J. Green, one of the best in the league. And Cincinnati is playing, they're running on all cylinders right now. And I think this is a game, this is going to be a statement game. And even though Cincinnati falters in the postseason in recent years, they're perennial regular season wonders and they are at home. I do like Cincinnati, even though Seattle has right now is number 4 in total defense, number 3 in scoring defense. I'm going to take the Bengals at home. Now, Atlanta, I'm going to take them at home over the Washington Redskins. Now, Atlanta, you talk about superseding expectations. That's precisely what they've done. 4-0 right now, number 3 in scoring offense. When you have quarterback Matt Ryan and receiver Julio Jones, it seems like you always have a chance to win. And now Washington has been competitive this season. Their last game, they beat the Eagles by 3, and however, their turnover differential is something to be desired, -4. And if you're going to ask if quarterback Kirk Cousins can outduel Matt Ryan, I think the answer is a resounding no. But Washington, surprisingly, is number 6 in total defense in the league. I was a little startled when I saw that stat, and they may make this a little more competitive than some people think, but I do like Atlanta at home. Next game, in the Toilet Bowl, I'm going to take the Tampa Bay Bucks over the Jacksonville Jaguars. These offenses are both inept. Tampa Bay is averaging 18 points per game. Jacksonville 15.5. Jacksonville is a lamentable 3-15 in the last 18 road games. They have one bright spot, Paul Posluszny, if I'm pronouncing that right, number 4 in tackles in the league. Jameis Winston for Tampa Bay has not really fulfilled his potential. I know it's early yet, but I think it's safe to say Marcus Mariota is definitely outperforming him right now. He threw, I believe, 4 interceptions last week. But the fact they are at home, I do believe Tampa Bay will win, and coupled with the fact Jacksonville just can't seem to win road games very often. So I like the Bucks at home. Next game, I'm going to take the Philadelphia Eagles at home over the New Orleans Saints. Philadelphia, is the season over for them at 1-3? Maybe not quite, but they really need to win this game very badly. The Saints are certainly not as formidable as they used to be. The Eagles, their last game, they made it close. They won the game before that. So I would expect this game to be close, win or lose. Drew Brees led his team to victory late in the last game they played. They're number 3 in passing yards per game, so they could put up the passing yards, but can they put up the points? And they need to avoid costly turnovers if they're going to win this game. And I just feel at this point, these two teams, neither one of them are great, but I'm going to take the Eagles to win this one. I think it's their season. Could be their season right here. They've had such high expectations, and I think they almost have to win it. So I'm going to take the Eagles at home. Now, Green Bay. You talk about another team that's pretty much invincible and indomitable at home. You have Aaron Rodgers has that consecutive streak of no interceptions is still intact at home. And their defense has been surprising too. Everybody lauds Green Bay's offense all the time, but you look at their defense has given up 17.8 points per game, and I found that to be very startling, very impressive. And St. Louis seems like they play to the competition a lot. They pull off a win against Arizona, but then it seems like they're the type of team that'll lose to a mediocre team or a team that's subpar. I think last week's win might have been an aberration as well. However, they are number 2 in the league in sacks with 17, number 1 in tackles with 317. Well, they may be doing a lot of tackling in this game because the Green Bay offense is really unbelievable, to say the least. I think in this particular game, you have Aaron Rodgers. I see him Mr. Unflappable, so they could put some pressure on him, but he'll still find a way to lead Green Bay to victory, and I like Green Bay at home. The next game, I'm going to take the Buffalo Bills on the road over the Tennessee Titans. Buffalo ran into a little buzzsaw named the New York Giants last week, but the team is, as far as their interceptions go, very good. Their secondary's playing well. They have 6 INTs this season. They haven't lost consecutive games since week 10 and 11 of 2014. I don't see it happening in this one. The Titans' offense has really played well. They have 28 points, at least, in all 3 games. Marcus Mariota been a great surprise. He has a 109.2 quarterback rating. It's interesting that Titans are enigmatic on defense. They're number 1 in total defense, but they've allowed nearly 26 points per game. So they're obviously they're probably the one possibility is maybe they're turning the ball over deep back in their own territory, and teams are going in and they're scoring, but the team's drives are not very long, so they're not giving up many yards. And Titans also, I think the number 1 total defense is a little deceptive and misleading because they've had a bye week, so that plays a role as well. I'm going to take Buffalo on the road to win this one. Arizona on the road, I'm going to take them over Detroit. I think that Arizona, number 2 in interception with 7. I think the defense is going to be a little bit too much for Detroit to handle the secondary. I think last week was an aberration in that loss to St. Louis. The Fitzgerald-Palmer combo has been sterling, to say the least, and superlative. I see them bouncing back on the road in this one and getting things together and producing better drives like they did more in the first 3 games of the season. Detroit, really surprising with Matt Stafford and company, number 25 total offense and scoring offense. They're only averaging 16.5 points per game. They're going to have to put a little more than that up to win this one. I just don't know if they're going to do it, and I do like Arizona on the road. Now the next game, I'm going to take the New England Patriots on the road to defeat Dallas, and a lot of this pick is attributed to Dallas having a depleted lineup. I don't know if Tony Romo is going to play or not. I tried looking on ESPN earlier and I couldn't get anything on that. New England still has their vaunted offense, number one in scoring, nearly 40 points per game. It looks like quarterback Tom Brady and company, they're out with a vengeance right now after this Deflategate scandal. And Tom Brady, as usual self, he's number 5 in passing yards in the league. Dallas may be without Romo, and if they are, and if they're without some other key proponents, I don't really see how they can manage a win in this one, even though they are at home. I like New England on the road. Now, the next game, I'm going to take the Denver Broncos on the road to defeat Oakland. Oakland has been much more competitive this season. Don't get me wrong, people very vastly improved. They're 2-2 right now, and they were competitive in every game except they had like a 20-point loss to the Bengals in week 1 of the season. But they've seemed to be rejuvenating. They've regrouped since that time, and I see they might make this fairly close. It might be like a 7-point game, but I still see Denver. It's just their stifling, relentless defense. It's not even just Manning. It's a fact that Denver is the number 2 scoring defense in the league. 17.3 points per game allowed, number 1 in sacks with 18. They're going to be putting pressure on that Oakland quarterback, and I think that's going to make a big difference and significant impact on the game. And I do like the Denver Broncos on the road. Next game, I want to take the New York Giants at home to defeat San Francisco and get their 3rd consecutive victory. Giants they've shown some resiliency. They started out 0-2. They had 2 demoralizing losses in the final minutes of those first 2 games. They bounced back nicely. They beat a solid Buffalo team on the road. The Giants still, their pass defense is lamentable, number 32. But if they can make the interceptions at the right time, that stat is not always important. Now, San Francisco, on the other hand, number 32 in scoring offense. I know they were like a mediocre team last season, but did anyone really envision that the 49ers would be dead last in scoring offense right now at 12.0 points per game? They're also -5 in turnover differential, and that's not going to get it done. Giants force a few turnovers, play the way they've been playing. Previous 2 games, they should win this one fairly easily. And I like the Giants at home. Last but not least, I'm going to take the San Diego Chargers to win at home over the Pittsburgh Steelers. Quarterback Phillip Rivers, number 1 in passing yards. He seems, no matter how his team finishes the previous year, he always seems to have this attitude where he's just very kind of expansive, upbeat nature, and he just doesn't let anything thwart him. He comes back every season and just seems to put whatever negativity the previous season behind him in terms of a 1-loss record or missing the postseason or whatever. And I think in this particular game, we're going to see a lot of passing from San Diego, of course. Now, the Steelers, if no Ben Roethlisberger, no victory, they're going to obviously put a lot of pressure on Rivers. They have 14 sacks, the Steelers, and they do have some weapons in their arsenal. They have wide receiver Antonio Brown, tied for number 1 in receiving yards in the NFL with 478. And they have Le'Veon Bell, who's a very lethal running back. And they're going to have to win with those guys. And if Vic is quarterbacking, they're going to obviously he's going to have to keep it very low turnover, no more than 1 against San Diego, because San Diego, with that explosive offense that they have, they're going to capitalize on any turnovers. So, and that's going to be tough to overcome. I like the Chargers at home. Well, anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube NFL prediction segment for Week 5 of the 2015 season. And stay tuned next time, where I'll be giving you my picks and analysis for Week 6 of the 2015 NFL season. And until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying, stay well.